Now, this new wave of the coronavirus in Israel has been notable in that it's affected nearly every corner of the country. And the Israel Defense Force has proven not to be above the fray as a fresh outbreak within Israel's vaunted 8200 intelligence unit has now emerged. Now, to get more perspective on the impacts of that, we're joined by our correspondent Adi Kopowitz here. Now, Adi, at least what's known about this latest outbreak in the 8200 unit, and how damaging might it be to the country's security?
Well, it's a very big question. Over 20 soldiers in the unit were infected from 2 different departments. The effect of it's still not completely known. We know that the military tried to work in capsules during the last period of time, meaning to separate teams of people in order to prevent wide infections, even if there is a situation where a soldier is infected with coronavirus. How effective is this precaution? The military will have to discover now. We do have to say 8200 is a very critical unit for the IDF. It's the largest intelligence unit in the military. It's a parallel of the NSA in the United States, and it's responsible for all the signal intelligence, meaning all sorts of intelligence that have to do with the transmitted information are under the responsibility of this unit. Definitely a very wide range of responsibilities, and now these 2 departments are to some level not completely functional, and this could definitely potentially affect the intelligence production in the unit.
Now, anyone familiar with the inner workings of the IDF would know that it seems impossible to encapsulate, separate soldiers, really probably any unit, to totally isolate from the virus here. So what do we know about the effect at large in the IDF right now of this outbreak?
Well, we know that there are some specific roles and some specific units that are now in quarantine or in isolation, and there are corona tests being given around to see how many soldiers were infected. As to whether the separation between different units and different departments was effective, now we'll probably start seeing the answer to that as more and more soldiers are being infected, and now the IDF will see how many soldiers have been infected from these confirmed patients of coronavirus and see how wide is the effect. If the separation was indeed effective, then less soldiers will be infected with the coronavirus, and more units will keep on to function as usual. If the separation wasn't effective and wasn't done efficiently, then this might be quite a widespread within the military. This could definitely affect the work of the military, and specifically within 8200, this could be significant.
Now, we know already about some large-scale drills that were canceled, training drills canceled by the IDF in the coming months. Is there anything else that's been at least advertised at this point that we know in terms of impact, or what's the significance there? I mean, and training drills being canceled, what else?
Well, there are two different things that are affecting right now the long-term plans of the IDF. One of them is the coronavirus affecting all the activity and the amount of people who are even allowed to be together at one place at the same time. The other thing that is affecting the IDF and these wide drills, which are very important for the IDF regular functionality, is the question of a budget. Right now, Israel, with the coronavirus crisis and the political turmoil that just ended a few months ago, is still quite in a mist about the budget and how is the IDF budget and the security budget in Israel going to look in the future and in the next few months. Now the IDF is trying to pressure the government, of course, to give it the maximum budget possible, understanding that there is an economic crisis in all different ministries. There will have to be some cuts everywhere, and this could affect the IDF also in this term of canceling some of these practices.